Hit it. Experience 24 hours of head-to-head AWS sessions from around the world.
Mic check, 1, 2.
Jaws PANKRATION 2021. Up till down.
Hi, everyone. I'm really happy to be here with you. My name is Renato, and today I would like to talk to you about the AWS free tier. What is good, what is bad, and what is really challenging. First of all, I've been working with AWS for over 10 years with AWS technology, and as well, I receive sometimes invoices that I did not expect. Why? For example, couple of months ago, I received an invoice of $20 more or less, for something that I forgot to turn off. I'm not the only one. I thought that was something that was free, was not free. Well, this is a tweet from Jeff Barr, and well, another common problem, you might create something or run something for testing in the wrong account, in your personal account, or in account where you don't have free credits, and you might get it wrong. We see now how we are going to fix this kind of problems.
Renat, sorry.
Yes.
It seems not to use PokeTalk, so.
Okay.
Okay.
So off?
No. Do you want to use PokeTalk or not?
I was planning to use it, but doesn't work. No.
Oh, it doesn't work. Okay. Go ahead.
No, I don't know. Should I go ahead? Should I keep pressing or not? Sorry.
You don't need to use PokeTalk anymore. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry about that. Okay, my fault. So what's the problem with the AWS free tier? Now, this is an article from just a few months ago, where basically users were complaining, were worried that people don't really understand often when the limit is. So I thought I deleted everything, but I have been charged $200. Why? This is an article from last week in AWS that most of you know is a very popular newsletter. And is the AWS free tier really free? Well, the answer from Quinn is a straight no. We'll see in a second why we say it's not free, or what we mean by not free. I wrote an article that was very popular on InfoQ about the topic that is growing concern among developers about the AWS free tier. What is usually the challenge? The challenge is new developers, young developers, people that move from different cloud provider, from Azure or from Google Cloud, or engineers that wants to get certified, and of course they want to try services, play with services, that forget something on, forget to delete something, or they don't fully understand how a service has been charged. So they might end up with for example, in this example, $200, and $200 of a charge can be a lot of money for many developers. Why is that a challenge? Well, AWS is huge now. Every year they have new services. I claim there are 214 services. Each one of them has many price components. I'm just making those numbers up. The order is more or less right. That's the kind of number you have. But who knows how many price components there are for each service. So first of all, what is the AWS free tier? Free tier means three different things. There are over 100 products that are under the free tier. There are products that are always free. Always free means that usually there's a minimum usage that you can do freely every month forever. For example, a tiny bit of data transfer or a tiny bit of storage or whatever, that's free forever. Then there are services that are free for 12 months from the moment you create the account, not from when you use it, from when you create the AWS account. So for example, you can run a small instance, a small EC2 instance for 12 months since you create the account. And then there's a third option that are services that are basically what they call trials. And those are short-term free trial of new, almost all 2 months, 6 months for free from the moment you sign on and you start using that specific service. There are as well other options, like for example, you might not be charged, it might be free to use a service that is in preview, but you receive an email and you start to pay the moment it's not in preview anymore. So what's the problem? Well, the problem is that there are really many services. There's a different price approach to different services. And at the end of the day, even when you use a free tier, there's your credit card on the account. So you have a free tier, but when you go over the free tier, you pay for what you use. Why is that happening? Well, because they don't want to shut down automatically your services. So either if you want a service always running, Amazon assume that if you are not using the free part anymore, you have to pay for using it. So it's not that when you run out of the free part, something magic happens that everything is off. No, service keep going. So it might begin as a mistake. So you might start a new instance and then forget after 12 months to turn it off. Is that common among cloud provider? Well, unfortunately, cloud providers have different approaches. So if you come from a different cloud provider, you might notice the difference. So for example, both Google Cloud and Azure provide a sort of a sandbox account. So on Google Cloud, you have to upgrade to a paid account. So you can start with a free account that at some point you're not able to use it, but you're never going to be charged until you manually upgrade. And something slightly different in Azure, but the idea is similar. There's a spending limit functionality that is on by default. So, okay, now we know that it might happen, and that's already important. What can I do to monitor my cost and make sure that I stay inside the free tier or that I'm not going to be charged more? Well, first of all, and that's very, very important, is enable billing and cost management for all users. Otherwise, only the root account has it, and you need to see your cost and your billing components. So go to the provider, enable the functionality. To be able to be safe, you need to know what you're paying, and you don't want to know it just at the end of the month. Second is turn on something quite new, is now 1 year old, anomaly detection. Anomaly detection is a artificial machine learning service that basically alerts you when something weird happens on your account. So for example, let's say you always run a very small instance, suddenly you turn on by mistake a huge one. Well, that's going to tell you, look, there was a spike in the cost of the EC2 in the last 24 hours. And that's very important because if you receive a notification, you're still going to pay for those hours, but you pay maybe for 6 hours, not for 30 days. Third one, create budget, set alarms. What are budgets? Well, you can go to the AWS budget service page, create a budget. So you're basically saying this month I expect, or every month I expect to spend a certain amount of money maximum. So if you expect to always be on the free one, you can create, for example, a very small budget, like, I don't know, I want to have a budget of $10 and be notified when you reach 50% of that budget, or even when the service forecasts that by the end of the month, you reach that budget. So as soon as you pay something, you receive a notification that you are over your budget. That helps you to know in advance that you might spend money. Another option, if you're lucky enough, there are programs on AWS that offers a sandbox account, but they are really specific. So for example, there are something under AWS Educate that certain institutions allow to, basically you can join and create account on AWS without having to use a credit card or a bank account. That allow you basically to have a sandbox account. Now, some people tell me, oh, I have a lot of AWS credits, so I don't have problems. So yes, if you have credits from a conference, from an accelerator program, or credit from anywhere, put the credits on your account, because of course, if you do something wrong, at least you use the credits. Anything you pay with credits. But always double check that the credit you have cover the service you want to use. Usually, yes, the most common services are covered. But if you click on the credits, or if you have a credit and you look at the service that are supported by that specific credit you have, it might be that if there's a new service, for example, next week starts reInvent, if there's a new service launch at reInvent, it might be that your credit doesn't yet support that. Make sure that you're not paying for something that is not covered by your credit. In doubt, if you have doubt, ask AWS support. You can always open a billing ticket. Other option that some people use for larger projects is use what is called throwaway accounts. So if you have to build a project that is a temporary project, whatever is a demo, whatever is something that you need just for doing some certification or whatever else, you can as well create a sub account under an organization, or you can create a brand new account and terminate the account at the end of the project, because terminating an account is the easiest way to make sure that every service you start on a specific account is going to be terminated and is not going to be charged. So now, worst case scenario. Now you say, okay, I followed all the best rules, and unfortunately, I woke up on the first day of the month and I have some unexpected cost because, well, I don't know, I was doing a certification, I was using EC2 instance, or I was using a cluster, I forgot to turn it off, or I did something that I didn't fully understand, and that's normal while doing testing something. And I suddenly have a bill, I have to pay for something that I did not expect, and is a challenge. Well, first thing you should do is really ask AWS support. Open a ticket. You can always open a ticket in the support console, even with free support. You can open one under billing. You go there, you explain your case, you explain why and how it happened, and usually they are very helpful in sorting out what happened. Why I'm saying that? Because ideally, I wouldn't need to do this presentation. Ideally, there should be a box that you can flag and say, I don't want to spend anything. I want to have a sandbox account. That has limitation. That is currently not available on AWS. So there's no simple way to pay nothing. The most important thing is to make sure that you are aware of when you pay and when you don't pay. So the easiest way to be aware of the cost is to basically set up alarms, be notified as soon as possible of the cost, and don't assume that you know what you're running. Because, for example, maybe you run a CloudFormation template and you're running services that you're not very familiar with, and that's normal. You want to experiment, you want to play with new stuff. To play with new stuff, the safest way to play is to have safety net in place. Safety net are be aware and monitoring. With that one, thank you very much. And I would like to share you some resources that I collected on the topic, because again, the most important thing is to know what can go wrong and know how to address them. Many of them, some articles are critical of the AWS free tier approach. Some other are supportive, but the point is to really understand what is under the free tier and what is not, and how to avoid and how to basically keep your cost under control. Thank you. I'm available for any question, and you can send me an email if you have doubt or if you want some advice, or connect to me in LinkedIn.
Music's loud and I'm feeling alright. In slow motion, baby, it's just you and I. Yet the burn makes you feel so alive. I'm living the moment so you can live it tonight. We're here now, let's party together. Let's live like tonight is forever. We're here now, let's party together. Let's live like tonight is forever. the rhythm move us. Yeah, baby, take it too far. You're at the center of my attention. Yeah, you got me so lost. I love the way that you move and how the lights keep up the groove. We're like